It's the 3rd of October, and this is Jackie's burning bush, one of the two that we got from the garden centre. This is a little Christmas tree that seems to have done reasonably well in the ground. This is Edith. Edith didn't do too well last year, planted behind the chair in the shade, so we're going to see how it is, and this is the burning bush behind it. We've got a lovely couple of flamingo willow which are doing quite well. This is a nice little bush which reminds us very much of cypress. It's a little olive which may or may not manage through the winter, but let's hope it does. Jackie planted this in the spring of this year, and it's produced some lovely little red berries. Here's a little acer that the deer had a go at last year. Seems to have survived so far. And here's a little pear tree which we grew in a tub. This is showing some very lovely autumn foliage. This is Williams. I particularly like this tree that my dad planted 30 years ago. It's a type of cherry, a very dark leaf cherry, and it's done incredibly well. Well done, Dad. This Chinese creeper, or whatever you want to call it, ivy, is pretty at this time of year and hides that horrible drain. There's a little bit of colour in the passion fruit. They're not doing particularly well in this spot because of the lack of sunlight. These ones are deciding whether to open or not. I think that next year we'll move them somewhere a bit brighter. The aces are starting to change colour a little bit and looking very pretty. When the leaves are falling off, I'll move them into one size bigger pot, but do nothing with them. This ace is quite pretty, but not all of it is turning colour yet. The 14-year always adds a little bit of colour when there's not much else around. These holly have got some interesting shapes and colours. I'll put those in the ground probably in the winter. Some nice little aces here ready to change colour, and again I'll pop those on probably about February time. And this is always a pretty tree, especially in the autumn, and well, it's a bush really, I suppose, but it's got some size about it. I like these clematis or clematis. They haven't got very many flowers, but the flowers that they have got are pretty. It hasn't got any leaves, but this dogwood's got beautiful red stem. Caudal in here also gives a nice bit of colour. These guys didn't produce a flower. I think that is a flower in the middle of this one, but they usually flower a lot earlier. At least they did last year. But they're quite pretty and they're surviving well. We moved them from where they were in the shade, and I think they like it better here. Pretty shrub called cotinus, which seems to be doing okay where it is. Now I need to look this shrub up because I've forgotten its name, but it's doing quite well in the tub. I think everything's better in the ground, by the way, but sometimes you don't know how good your soil is. Jackie's bought these little tubs. Well, she bought the plants for the tubs, and they've done quite well when they've been transplanted. The hydrangeas have had a lovely flower, but they're just about finished now. But the terrace fencing that we've put up has certainly protected them from the deer, which were a right pain last year. These aces are in a tub now. This first one on the left here is Crimson Sentinel, Sentry, I'm not sure which it is. And, there are a few others dotted here and there, and hopefully they'll survive the winter. This cherry tree is very dark leafed and it's called Royal Burgundy. Jackie and I bought this little miniature orange tree. I think it was from Lidl actually. It was about £20. I was a bit sceptical because I've never seen any in Britain, but it's been producing oranges, and oranges have stayed on the tree for probably 3 months, so it can't be bad. Always nice to have a sambuca here and there, and this one is feeding the birds quite well with its berries. This Mahonia looks quite pretty in the autumn sun. It's an impressive plant that we just put straight into the ground. We didn't mess about with it. Jackie got a couple of these, they're quite pretty. I think they might be called Christmas roses. Here's another one ready to come into bloom. And the tag says Helleborus, so I'll need to look that up. And here's another one. I think they're both Christmas roses of one sort or another. It's the 14th of December 2024, almost at the end of autumn. We've had some reasonable autumn colours which I hope you've enjoyed watching, and then we'll do another video sometime on winter colours. Bye for now.